What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the right-hand side of the map in the red color, playing as Loki. His name is Skady. Skadalicious Definitious. It's been a hot minute since I've seen a Skady game. He's always full of surprises, unorthodox strategies, and we're seeing him with the Loki today, so we'll see what he's going to come up with. Today he is up against AC the Great, self-titled AC the Great. There is no, I haven't adjectived his name at all here. He is completely self-titled as AC the Great, so that'll be up to you to decide whether or not that is true. And he is playing Isis, and it's a 1v1 on Blue Lagoon. Isis, a very, very difficult god to play in a lot of different matchups, but I do believe that the Isis versus Loki matchup is very, very winnable for the Isis player in nearly every single map with correct play. Loki definitely a difficult god to play in this matchup, but remember, we did see that recent show match of Joe versus Matrius, where Matrius made Loki look S+ tier. So we'll see if that's going to be more of a thing that's going to be coming along as we ask, well, maybe Loki is just not piloted by the best players as a potential, as we see some perfect giraffe kills over here from AC the Great. The only problem with these giraffe kills is that this one's killed just a little bit early, so he's still got about 100, 150 food, 300 food in total on these two giraffes together, and this one's just going to lose one food every couple of seconds. So it's not that big of a deal as long as it's a really good giraffe kill, but most of the time you want to wait on that if you possibly can, and then you'll be completely fine. But we'll jump back over to Skady's perspective. Thank you so much for the 31 months, Brewster. Are you kidding me? That's a lot of months. Appreciate you, my friend. You are number one in my books. Yo. So, Skady onwards and upwards. He's already just getting wood from one trio line over here, picking off this obelisk, getting himself just a little bit of early game favor. Going to pick that obelisk off and then possibly come back, drop a temple. It's a really, really interesting decision to go for just one villager early on this wood and then maybe get an ox cart a little bit later, because if you've only got the one villager, the walking time is still there, but maybe it's less important to get that ox cart out. Now, the way the math works is that an ox cart will make you lose, if you get an ox cart to get onto your savannah trees early, you're going to lose about 7 resources per villager that you would have built or whatever, if that makes any sense. So if you've got more than X amount of villagers losing however many resources going back and forth, however many times they go back and forth, then you're at a loss. Otherwise, you're not. So you just have to kind of do that math. And in this situation, it seems like that math checks out. And Skady has actually made a really, really good decision where that's concerned. He's got plenty of resources in the back. Moving over here, he's got a nice back elephant. This is really, really good for this matchup. We'll go into this just a little bit later. But Skady's going to be getting himself this final dwarf. He's got his temple up, and he's getting the Forseti out. So one of the really, really good ways in which Isis can get an advantage in this map over, say, Ra or Set. Now, Set's got his own ways to get wins. Ra's got his own ways to get wins. But Isis can do a really, really aggressive Priest Pharaoh early game push onto a secondary hunt of the Loki player in the early game. And there's nothing the Loki player can really do to stop that. And then their hunting is just completely removed. So in order to make that happen, you need to basically have a map where you know where your opponent's hunt is. Otherwise, it obviously doesn't really work, because you're not going to be able to get there fast enough. The priests are too slow. Everything's a bit sad. And what normally happens when you do said strategy is your opponent has to come back into their base and actually get watchtowers to stop them from getting pushed off the gold, pushed off the wood. So it can be a really, really strong early game strategy, strong cheese to get an advantage in this matchup. And the fact that Skady's got this back hunt over here, this is super perfect. There's really no good way for an Isis player to get onto this hunt here. So That's this is perfect for Skady. He's going to get plenty of units out, and there's no real threat to his base. The only threat would have been maybe this gold mine here coming around with some priest pharaoh to get onto this, but then simply just watchtowers, and then those priests and pharaoh stop looking so scary, and we are in fact seeing a troll moving forward. But there is already the priest and the pharaoh here for AC the Great to defend. Skady just going to have to retreat back, no problems there. We do see the spy being dropped down on the priest, which is actually a really interesting option there from Skady. If AC the Great's not consistently hitting this button, which is F7 for those playing at home, to check when that spy is used, he might not know that his priest is actually spied here, which is obviously going to be a thing, but we are going to be seeing Skady going straight after said priest, definitely wanting to get some hits on here. Getting some favor is going to be really helpful. Now, the big question is, what is AC the Great going to be going for in this matchup? And to be honest, it looks like he's kind of making a bit of a mistake here. If I'm playing Isis in this matchup, classical fight nearly every single game is going to be really good unless you've got incredibly good hunt. And we're seeing AC the Great going to be going for a fast heroic here. And what a fast heroic does is it unlocks the Migdol stronghold, right? In terms of your tech. In the Migdol stronghold, you can make chariot archers, which are really good against Norse generally, but against Loki, Loki's got Hall of Thane's Hersa and raiding cavalry, and these units are incredibly strong against chariot archers because they both have more than 5.00 speed, more than 5.5 speed actually. So the chariot archers are really kind of don't have a lot of use. So what's the next strategy that could potentially be done with some sort of fast heroic? Answer, well, maybe the Isis player can go chariot archer axeman in order to deal some stuff, but then you still got to deal with the potential raiding cavalry that are going to be coming out as we see prosperity getting dropped. And things are a little bit weird here. So this is why I suggest maybe sticking it with the classical fight. You can actually go for Spearman Axeman as well against, and also get maybe some myth units out as well a little bit later, and then mix in some chariot archers if the whatchamacallits come out, if throwing Axemen come out. So we'll see what Skady's doing. He's already dropped his armory over here. We see him cutting units very smartly, saying, yep, just going to get to that heroic age right now. Scouting around the map. Let's see where the points of weakness are for AC to have to overcome. He's got a gold mine here. He's got a gold mine here. And he's got a gold mine here. So these are the 3 gold mines. These are the points of weakness. So AC the Great needs to figure out a way in which he can secure this gold mine and survive a flaming weapons. And the way to do that is to have you have to have mass axemen out to deal with those Hersa. One of the big advantages of axemen against Hersa is that the axemen will be doing around 20, I can't exactly remember, 20-ish damage per second against the Hersa. And then when the Hersa get flaming weapons, those Hersa come up to about 16 damage per second. So the axemen are actually out damaging the Hersa even during flaming weapons. So you need axemen. And the second thing is you need double Migdol. Third thing is you need priests with funeral rites. That's a lot of gold you need to be spending in order to make your second gold mine not fall. And that's just to keep surviving in this matchup at this point in the game. So we'll see if AC the Great is going to be able to do that or not. So now we see the Scorpion Men running around the map. These Hersa still have not gotten themselves Hall of Thanes, which, while obviously Skady is going to want to get it, it's not exactly a very important thing to grab it super early. And Skady's actually found himself with a little bit of a timing advantage here. Getting these delayed Hall of Thanes means that everything else before this technology has come through has come in a little bit earlier. So this heroic age is going to be really fast, 300 wood faster than it would have normally come in, which is a really big deal. So Skady actually making a little bit of innovation here. One thing I wouldn't mind to see from Skady is actually copper shields coming out, and potentially copper mail as well. As you're definitely going to see chariot archers when you see your opponent go into the classical edge, and you're definitely going to be seeing axemen. So predicting that and going for a timing with that as well is not a bad idea, especially when you're playing Loki and you don't have that much production. You can't really spend all your resources. As we're seeing this Ox Guard here almost getting picked off by the Scorpion Man. The village is retreating back home here. Potential Ancestors Eclipse could be dropped, but with Hall of Thanes now through, no real threat. Braggy also through. A nice 9-minute, 30-second mark age up there from Skady, as we'll see exactly what he's going to try and do from this nice raid over here from AC the Great. Finding those villagers on the Zebra going to be really, really helpful. Picking off 2 villagers here. Skady's just clicked up, so losing those villagers is actually really, really big problem for him. But Skady does have a slight problem. Lots of resources in the bank that he really needs to be spending right now. So we'll see how that's going to go. We've got these villagers over here, double ox cart on this position. The villagers just going to retreat back, potentially jump onto the pigs, could jump over onto the berry bushes. We do see these see one chariot archer getting picked off, and the hearse are going to attempt to chase down these chariot archers. The chariot archers is just a little bit too fast to really catch up here, as we see some cavalry coming over here being a little bit obnoxious, and Ancestors Eclipse being dropped onto this position right now, forcing the villagers off of this one. That's a big commitment here, and the hearse are going to come in, swoop in, and get a ton of favor here. This Ancestors is not one that I would recommend very often here. I see making a bit of a mistake here, as the Ancestors are going to get caught out. You see a bunch of myth unit spawns for Skady, and more importantly, look at these Ancestors. 1 favor per kill. Every single one of these is going to die very fast, and there's about 9 of them, so he gets an immediate 9 favor on top of everything else that's going to be coming in here. You can see the chariot archers are about 1 favor, so we're going to get a bunch of myth unit spawns coming through for Skady as he's getting closer and closer to being full population Loki army. We don't see funeral rites just in just yet for Skady, as these axemen getting a lot of value by going out to the Hearser at this point. 20 seconds until flaming weapons is available, and the question is, does Skady realize there's a gold mine here? Yes, he does. So he knows the point at which he needs to attack here. And we're just going to see that army that Skady has constructed coming in. Still building more and more Hearser, raiding cavalry coming through. Did we see any upgrades? No upgrades from the armory for Skady. One of the reasons why I suggested armory upgrades for Skady is that a little known fact is that armory upgrades, they actually give heroes an extra 5% vulnerability over everything else in it. And because Loki likes building the heroes, you get an extra 5%. Hack vulnerability, extra 5%. Pierce vulnerability from those technologies, so they are worth just that little bit extra, and they can make a really, really big difference, considering if you were to get bronze mails, say, to get onto your raiding cavalries, that would be a 20% increase. So it's like a lot of, it's very, very close to 5%. 5% difference is very, very close. And you can actually get that difference sometimes from relics, as we do see Odin's Wand and the Eye of Ornlu over there. Odin's Wand being the relic which, as we see the flaming weapons getting dropped, the relic which reduces temple technology costs. And now the village is getting pushed back here. The village is getting taken down very, very fast, trying to make a dart for it. And this is the problem right here. Flaming weapons is nearly always going to win this fight as Skady pushes in, and we're just going to have to see, will AC be able to find his way onto another gold mine as he's sending the villagers up to the top side of the map. There is already some walls down. Skady's already got his marker down as well, as the villagers are going to try and find their way somewhere else, but the Migdol stronghold gets torn down. The battle boar's pushing in, and Skady is demonstrating one of the most brutal timings that Loki has up his sleeve here, as we are seeing some counter raids coming in here from AC the Great. Whenever you're unable to fight your opponent, if he's got a really, really strong concentrated force, raids are a good option because you know you're going to take damage, so try and deal damage back to your opponent. Smart play there by AC the Great. We'll see if it's going to be enough. He can find his way over onto this gold mine and get a lot more villager kills here. But firstly, AC is going straight after this location. The question is, does AC know about this gold? Answer, yes, he does. So will he go up to there and hit that one or not? It's the big question. Villagers coming over here onto this gold mine right now, as Skady is going to have to retreat back just a little bit. He does see the villagers coming through. He sees the units coming up to the top side of the map. Units coming over here trying to hit AC's very slow chariot archers. Isis and Set, raiding with chariot archers in general is something that I frown upon. I don't think that raids with chariot archers are generally as good as Ra. Ra with 5.5 speed can escape the units much, much easier, especially against Norse, than Isis and Set. These 5.0 speed units just don't cut the mustard, as it were. But this is giving AC the Great some time over here. As we see, the priests are out, funeral rites is in, so these battle balls are going to be going down very, very fast. That's a really, really key pickup there for AC the Great, as I'm continuously dying here. And the town center is going to be coming up here as these units are getting killed off. But now AC does spot this gold mine. We'll see what's going to happen. Villagers coming back up over here. That's very sneaky. We'll see if Skady is going to spot that or not. He is going to move forward, going straight for the main base. Looks like he's going to just miss the line of sight on this gold mine. That would be really brutal, especially with 5 Hersers and potentially some myth unit spawns there. But while this is all going on, Skady is clicking up through hell, and AC the Great is going to be left way behind here as we see some chariot archers trying to sneak through here, coming onto this location. The raiding cavalry are already in here as the battle ball going after these houses, doing even more damage. We see some more priests coming out right now. AC is going to need a ton more priests because he's going to have Fire Giant to deal with. He's going to have a Nidhogg to deal with, and also not to mention the myth units that are already out that he has to deal with in the battle ball, the mountain giant, everything else. We see these chariot archers getting targeted down by the raiding cavalry yet again, getting some good damage in here. Let's check out Skady's base here. He's got no units remaining here, or nothing, just spending all of his resources nicely, I should say, as the units over here getting chased down. The axemen pulling back. The villagers on this gold mine have now been spotted. The question is, will he drop Nidhogg over here as the villagers do retreat just a little bit, and Skady now moving in with his battle ball, going to get picked off immediately here. Look at those priests. There's tons of priests though. Meanwhile, we do see a big push in onto this location. That mountain giant is going to be getting serious value here, as well as the Nidhogg onto this position. We see a frost giant spawn as well. That's absolutely huge for Skady as he's trying to push in here. The village is getting pulled back by AC. He's going to be losing this location very, very fast. So we see these units continuously chasing these guys down, and AC needs to react. He's sending his priests up to this location here. The question is, did he get Spirit of Mart? Answer is actually yes. These priests only cost 70 gold now, so they're actually super value here as he's going straight after that Nidhogg. Look at the damage coming in as the Nidhogg getting a little bit of damage there onto the priest, but he's already been like a third of their half HP basically by those by that DPS that the priest put out. Meanwhile, the axemen have to the raiding cavalry have to get pushed back by the priests as this town center is yet again under attack. The mountain giant returning back in here, and AC needs more axemen here. He's trying his darndest to defend this position, but Skady is simply too strong in this game. We see the look at that Valkyrie just getting absolutely massacred there by the priest. Nice micro by AC. But now Skady coming over onto this location. We see some walls coming up over here. Barracks getting dropped down. Migdol Stronghold to boot for ACs at 108 of 118 population. So we've got plenty of population. But again, Skady has himself Fire Giant. He's got himself the Nidhogg. It's very, very difficult to deal with here as we've got some units now coming in onto this position as AC, simply put, has not got the buildings up to really defend this position. A Fire Giant going to be making its way over here as well. There's probably a bunch of low HP units here to boot. Look at those low HP units over there. The Fire Giant could potentially do tons of damage here as everything is pushing in. We see the priest army coming through here to defend. We've got 17 priests here. Relatively unupgraded units for Skady, though the Hersa definitely plenty of HP and damage now being in the Mythic Age. For those of you playing at home, heroes basically get a line upgrade every single time you advance through the age. So you can think about a Mythic Age Hersa equivalent to a champion infantry unit of some variety here, as a priest trying to push forward. A couple more villages getting taken down. Another myth unit spawned there for Skady as the priest have to pull back. AC kind of needs to drop towers here and have crenellations or spearmen if he wants to deal with these medium raiders here. These priests are not going to do all too much damage to these guys because they've got 41% pierce armor as the units are trying to push in onto this position. We are seeing Skady circling around yet again with his Hersa on the back foot. The Fire Giant's getting some big damage there onto the villagers. The splash damage is absolutely huge here as Skady pushing through. More damage coming in. Villagers getting absolutely massacred over here. The Nidhogg's positioning is really, really good as the Priest attempting to take out the Fire Giant, but Skady's micro is too strong here as we see the raiding cavalry just absolutely massacring the Priest in this position, as the Mountain Giant might go down here pretty quickly, but the Priest not going to be able to do a whole lot after this one. Is another battle ball coming in for free. You pick off one big unit, another big unit remains or gets rebuilt immediately on the battlefield, and in that moment AC has to tap out. Skady making a showing here, showing us exactly what Loki's supposed to look like, proving everyone wrong, showing that Loki is a force to be reckoned with. Crazy amounts of myth unit spawns. Honestly, this is very, very close to simply modern Loki gameplay, or at least what most Loki players have been doing. There's nothing crazy special that Skady's done in this game. His macro's obviously on point, deciding not to go for Hall of Thanes early, instead grabbing that a little bit later when he realizes that the armory is down and AC is not going for a classical fight is really, really smart. So AC making that decision and Skady reacting beautifully, not overcommitting in the classical age and being able to hit an even stronger timing in the heroic age was such an incredible way to start this one and play this game out, and then simply not overcommitting anywhere in the heroic age, taking the game to the mythic age, continuing to get further and further ahead, as AC was definitely struggling as he was trying to build mass priest to deal with the myth units coming through. But definitely, if you're going mass priest, you need to get some spearmen out to deal with those raiding cavalry, or some cavalry out to deal with those raiding cavalry. It's just not enough to have mass priest. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.